You're now listening to Black Mass Radio with Dr. Els, Gerard Smith, and Leo Elaine on WRUU-LP Savannah, your local community radio with global soul. So this episode, we're going to be talking about facts and truth. So, what do you guys think about? I think nowadays facts and truth have become more subjective and I guess malleable.
Yeah. It's alright. So, like, you know how they say, like, I feel like, or it's my belief, is that everything that starts out very good as far as like progressing society eventually becomes used for evil, right? So
I agree. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So I feel like, a few years ago people started saying live your truth, and it was a good thing. Living your truth, like what was true to you, being true to your identity. And then I think we just took live your truth to like the truth can be whatever I want it to be.
Yeah,
and that's what it has become.
Yeah, it's there's certain things like and it's very subjective. The same people that are all about having their own truth and living their own truth, they're against other people living their own truth in certain ways. Mm-hmm. One of the things I've noticed is people who I guess might have a different belief about like whether or not people should like gay rights or something like that. If that's somebody just living their truth, having their own thing, but other people are like, oh, they shouldn't be able to do that because I don't think that they should. Like, that's really the only justification that they can come up with. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in someone else doing what they want to. Like, if it's not really affecting you, that's literally somebody else's truth. Somebody being who they are.
Yeah.
So that's what I see when you talk about somebody living their truth or something like that. That's them being real with their identity and honest with who they want to be.
Yeah.
In the face of people that don't want them to be that way. And that's it's a way to live honestly.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, of talking about living your truth, I guess you have people that prefer to like, let's say you got somebody that's like a heroin addict, they're like, this is my truth, this is me, this is I'm just being myself. It's those are two totally different things. I'm not saying those are the same thing, but you'd have people that are against it that would compare those, and say those are the same thing, but they're not. One will kill you very fast. But what do you think, Leo?
Oof, I was sitting here making faces because it's such a struggle for when we say that people should live their truth. I mean, like you said, truth is subjective. So let's say someone is I don't want to say all Trump supporters are racist, because that's not true, but if somebody wants to discriminate against another person, right, that's their truth, right? Like Candace Owens, she lives her truth, right?
Well, that's what I was saying. If your truth isn't infringing on somebody else,
okay,
then it's fine. Who cares? Who does it hurt? But if your version of truth is trying to oppress other people, then like what's the point of that? You know?
So that's why I struggle with that, because people, like you said, it's all good intentions. Be your authentic self, live your truth. But then there's a downside to that, because people start distorting the truth and getting people on board with their missions. You know what I mean? So it's like
And you know, one thing I've noticed a lot with Western society and or American culture in particular is it's a lot of it is money driven.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of our problems are money driven. It's everybody is really just at the end of the day, and no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, left or right, everybody's really just trying to make money and get themselves and the people they care about right.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to look at whenever I'm seeing anybody that's talking about anything. It's like, okay, this person is trying to feed their family the best way they know how, but how are they doing it?
Yeah.
And you know, some people have found the way to do that is by you know, the best way to make sure that they have their money to continue flowing in is by keeping other people down.
Okay.
You know, and that's where that motivation comes from. So they're going to do whatever they can to keep a certain group of people down.
Okay.
And to keep themselves up.
And then I think from there you get the people who realize that I can get money from these people who are being kept down by making them believe that I can help get them back up.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Or,
and that perpetuates like another like a victim mentality.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it makes them believe that they're oppressed in a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So.
And here is the tricky part of it. The victim mentality is like it has no political bias.
Right.
You have a lot of people that say, "Oh, you know, the left is always playing victims or whatever." No, it's not just that's not like just a liberal thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you look on the right, they're constant it's the witch hunt. You know, Trump is just the biggest victim out. He's constantly, I've got everyone after me.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's trying to get me. The FBI, CIA, everybody wants me. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm innocent. So
now
I'm just a victim.
Now I'm just thinking about what if that became like a thing, just like sad Trump. Just
Just
pictures, just like start selling them as like stickers and T-shirts, just sad Trump. Just like he's the new Charlie Brown.
You know? Yeah. But I mean, like both sides have kind of carried this a sort of their unique brand of victimhood to like a very dangerous point. You know, you look at the level of victimhood on the right that led to January 6th. They're like, oh, you know, we're having all this stuff taken away from us, and I don't know exactly what it was, but you know, they felt like stuff was being taken away.
Right.
To the point where they felt they needed to overthrow the government. But you know, which was all of them in there. But I don't get it, but you know, that's how they felt. And you know, on the left you have people that kind of make a living off of exploiting the tragedies that happen in the with minorities and things like that. Like we have to realize also, if you are a minority listening to this, that there are entire industries and people out there. A lot of these people are making livings off of this stuff. They're not trying to really be a solution to these problems because they're profiting off of it.
Yeah, there are people who I think they do not want things to get better, because if things got better, then it's just like, well, then what do I do now?
Yeah, they're out of a job.
Yeah, so,
you know, like they're trying to feed their family. Hey, I got kids. You know,
look, I need to sell these self-help books.
Yeah. You know, you look at. I'll give an example for me that I see. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna do that because that might be slander. So,
it's like we air this episode, and I'm like, as soon as like we get to that part, it just cuts off. Like Black Mass Radio will no longer be aired on this.
Screen goes.
The person with all the wires around them, technical difficulties. But I will say, whenever there's like a tragedy that pops up, like you know, another black kid or black person that gets shot by some racist for just walking around at the wrong time or something like that, there's the same people that pop up and just basically just put themselves in front of the camera, and they haven't actually, like, what results have these people gotten?
I know exactly
Every
what you're
time,
talking about.
like, you have to look at, like, when these people show up, what do they do? What results do they get? Do they ever get any results? Do they ever help the situation? Do they, like, what are they doing aside from cashing checks and being on TV?
I think, what is it that, there's that Anthony Jeselnik joke where he says something like, anytime one of these tragedies pops out, you know, certain people post about it, but he's like, what you're really saying is, don't forget about me. And it's like, when you think about it, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's true. A lot of I'm not saying everybody who talks about, like, you know, every tragedy or every incident is like self-absorbed. Like, some people actually really do care, but there are a lot of people who they will take any major event, any controversy, and they try to figure out, how do I insert myself into this conversation?
It's really like the you remember how Don King used to be? God rest his beautiful soul. His beautiful soul, Don King.
Yeah.
Used to just show, like, they're like the Don Kings of racial politics.
Yeah.
You know? And it's, I don't know, it's weird to see, and I really want, for no matter what side of the political spectrum you find yourself on, there are, like, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, the fundamental, I guess, difference between the two parties is basically states' rights versus federal rights, right?
Yeah.
That's really like, and that's a logical. There are logical points to be made on both sides of that, whether you're on the left or the right. Like, the basic difference between the two parties is one believes in rights for the states, one believes in, like, federal government control over everything. And there are points to be made for both. There needs to be like a balance, you know? And there are valid discussions to be had on those that are based in facts.
Right.
So I think, you know, one of the reasons we're not getting those is because there are people on both sides that are more interested in, I guess, fueling the victimhood of their constituency so they can get reelected and keep putting food on the table for their family, right?
Right.
You know, so that's what it all comes back to. You know, hey, I'm trying to feed my kids out here. You know?
It's like, I hope y'all know. They go back home, they talk to their family. Like, I hope y'all know, I go out and I work 8, sometimes 12 hours a day to put that struggle on your plate. So y'all better get that struggle. Like, Jimmy, I still see a whole lot of struggle on that plate. You ain't been eating it. Like,
no, this isn't to say that they're struggling, because I mean, a lot of these politicians are making a ton of money out here too.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from, you know, selling
outrage.
Selling outrage and taking money from different business interests or whatever, so they can put more food on the table for their families, you know. So they'll take a payoff or something.
Is it more food or is it more greed?
Yeah, I mean, it is,
need?
but that's American culture though. You can never have too much. That's why we have billionaires.
it's like, my baby only eats filet mignon. So.
Yeah, you know, like that's part of what people look at as freedom. I should be able to stack as much. Like it's here's the other thing. We have a lot more in common on the left and right than we realize.
That is true.
And I don't think people. I always point this out to people like Republicans and rappers are the exact same people. They are the exact same. They both want limited government involvement in their business. And they want to stack paper to the ceiling. You know, that's it. That is all they want to do. And, you know, I think once we start looking at similarities instead of differences, that's when we'll start having real conversations.
There's no money in similarities.
Well, I mean,
No.
there's
You know, there's no money in similarities.
yeah, you know, that's another part of I guess capitalism. For people to continue getting richer, other people have to get poorer.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of it is by design. You know, you're not gonna have necessarily a lot of like a massive uplift of people coming up out of poverty, because that means that's less money going in the people that are controlling their stuff.
And let's think about it. I mean, outrage sells. Like the #1 rap song is about boycotting Target. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that's a thing.
Yeah. There's a whole song about outrage, about boycotting Target because of their Pride collection in Target.
A rap song.
A rap song?
Was it a white rapper?
Yes, with the beard, the Rick Ross beard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. But you know, it's America. That's
it's built on outrage.
Yeah. So, you know, we can have that's, I guess, the market decides, right? You know, you put out a product, you decide who gets it, and that's the other thing I was going to talk about. Like, people talk a lot about cancel culture, you know, cancel culture. It's always been a thing. Like, that's not like some new thing that came up over the last 5 years. Like, we're old enough to remember when Marilyn Manson came out, you know, and people were protesting him and, you know, burning the CDs, like literally burning them in piles.
NWA, they did the same thing. Hip hop.
Yeah. So, like, cancel culture is not something new.
Yeah, way back in the day, you used to cancel witches.
Yeah.
Instead of burning CDs, they burned them at the stake.
Yeah.
So, you know.
They were definitely getting canceled.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, it's all about, I think people like to try to use the cancel culture or to, I guess, demonize when it's something that's being attacked that they don't like. But complaining is a part of American culture. You know, like it is. You know, on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was like people talk about, you know, freedom of speech and how it's such a big part here in America.
Yeah, well, we're using it.
Yeah, I don't want freedom of speech if I can't complain.
Yeah,
like it's half of what my speech, half of what speech is supposed to be. Just like complain, like,
Yeah, and you know, like we are free to complain. This isn't North Korea.
Yeah,
you know. Nobody is. I think that's kind of what a lot of the politicians like to play up to. Like, oh, you're not gonna be able to do this or that anymore. Like, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you're doing it right now. You can complain. Nobody is gonna, you know, put you in front of a firing squad for saying something bad about, you know, whoever.
You sure? I mean,
well, it hasn't happened yet.
Listen, I mean, not an actual firing squad, but like a I don't want to say virtual, but like an imaginary one, like Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Well, yeah, that's when you get to talking about like power structures.
Okay.
Like Colin Kaepernick challenged a power structure.
Did he? All he did was just kneel.
Well, yeah, it's the symbolism of what he did, though. You know, like there, and I think, like I said, you know, we gotta look at similarities more than differences.
Yeah.
I think if a lot of people, because I remember he talked to the reason he started kneeling was because before he just wasn't doing anything, wasn't standing up or anything, and people were saying that was disrespectful. So he went and talked to an actual vet.
Yes.
And the vet said that, you know, we, in order to like show respect and mourn and things like that, like we kneel. So that's why he started kneeling, to mourn and like respectfully mourn.
I wonder if the vet is like, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was going to turn out like that.
Yeah. So that, we see how that turned out. But, you know, it's all about sitting down and having conversations. And I think when you talk a lot about like racial politics and different things like that, certain people tend to get really like uncomfortable around stuff like that, but it ends up not solving anything, you know. And I think we have to, both sides need to approach it from more of a solutions oriented mindset.
And like you said,
you know, it's a lot of, I notice a lot of white people, whenever you talk about racial stuff, they get really sensitive because it's like, well, I didn't do it. This wasn't me. Like, why are you coming? It's like, no, we're not blaming you for this. Like, we're just pointing something out. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Why do I feel like I'm always the devil's advocate? Because, you know, if we're not holding people to their ancestors, why are we still, you know, mad at Eve for biting the apple?
Yeah.
Why are,
there's that too.
You know, like, why are we still mad at people for crucifying Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if this is where we're going, but I wanted to get back to what you were saying about rappers and the right.
Yeah.
They're so similar. They love their guns.
Oh yeah, they love guns.
Guns, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they could bond over guns.
Yeah.
Money,
women.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That. I
yeah.
mean.
And how they should not be allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Like you also believe that they don't need.
Me
too.
No, seriously, that would be a funny skit. Me too.
It's like, oh, you think
women
guns? Should be told what to say? I wrote this woman's whole verse.
There we go. So yeah, I mean, there are so many similarities that, you know, I don't see why they're not together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have to look at what unites us instead of what separates us. You know, this is about unity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here on Black Mass Radio, we preach unity.
Yes, we do.
So, there are also, well, you know what? I think, what's more important than truth nowadays is personality. You know, I think personality kind of overrides truth. I mean, that's kind of what got Trump to where he is. It's personality. He's very, very charismatic. He's able to suck people in, you know.
Okay.
And I think deep down people know, like, they know what's going on, but they're just like, no, that's my guy though. You know, it's like, it don't matter. Like, I'm with him. I'm with him. Like, whatever he got going on, I'm with it.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of personality. They wouldn't tolerate that from somebody else. You know, like nobody else could get away with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I know I have personally gotten to the point where I am always suspicious of charismatic leaders.
Yeah.
In any area.
Yeah.
Like anybody who like they got like a really like you know, charming and clever and they say all the right things at the right time, and I immediately just become wary. Like
suspicious.
Yeah, it's like, and I think that's kind of like one of the reasons why I was more confident in Bernie Sanders. He wasn't charismatic.
Yeah, he was just a grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you know,
these are the issues, and I was like, yeah, I trust this guy.
Yeah, he had no tact.
Yeah.
He was just out, just talking,
It's
telling it how it really was, no filter.
Yeah,
and I think that was his downfall.
Yeah, he had no filter. I'd watch some of his. I was like, wow, you can't say all of that. You really, wow, he's really airing it out.
Reparations.
Yeah,
you won't see it in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Nope, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you're not going to give us hope? Nope, I don't deal in hope.
No. Reparations, there's no way that's going to pass. Like, nobody in there's going to vote for that.
And he was telling the truth.
He was telling the truth.
Didn't we want to hear it?
But people took advantage of that. He said he's not gonna give reparations. It's like, well, he was being real. He didn't cater to the victim mentality. It was really like, I guess, being realistic.
It's like you got the salesman who tries to sell you a really fancy car that you really can't afford.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'd rather get the salesman who's like, look, man, I can't get you that Mercedes, but I can get you that Honda, right? You can pay and you're like,
we'll see what we can do down the road to maybe get an Audi or something.
Yeah.
No Mercedes though.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to what you said, because I know it's going to be taken the wrong way, because you said victim mentality about reparations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not going to sit and say that black people don't deserve reparations.
Right.
Because, every other, now this episode is about facts and truth. Now, if we're speaking on facts and truth, every other race that has been through, different things in this country has received reparations.
Everyone.
Every single one of them. Except black people. The only people that received reparations for slavery were slave owners.
Yes.
Now, at this point, it's like, I'm of the mind where it's like, we do deserve it, but we just gotta try to make it work without it. Like, what choice do we have?
Right.
But
I knew that's not what you meant.
Yeah,
I knew that's not what you meant.
We can't. It's not necessarily a fair world that we live in.
No.
You just have to do what you have to do, and that's it. You gotta just
play the cards you were dealt.
Yeah, play the hands you're dealt, and that's what we intend to keep doing. But on that note, we're going to take a little break, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back to Black Mass Radio on WRUU-LP 107.5 FM, community radio with a global soul. Also streaming online at WRUU.org. I am Dr. Els.
I'm Gerard Smith.
And I'm Leo Elaine.
And, before the break, we were talking about, actual facts and how, I guess, amorphous they've become now. Let's talk about stuff that's actual opinions, because I think people get so heated over stuff that's really opinion-based, they forget it's an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Something that is actually opinion-based. iPhone versus Android. That's an opinion. That's a personal opinion. I'm personally team iPhone.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely.
I'm not. I am anti-iPhone, but I have no choice because everybody around me has an iPhone.
Yeah, and there's when we get in these debates with people about what phones we like, usually I take those conversations like in jest, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a personal preference, like what all works for you. iPhones kind of have and this isn't me like shilling for either one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they both have their ups and downs. With iPhones, you know, I have a lot more, I guess, security in encryption and stuff and what I can download. They don't allow a lot of stuff in their store.
Right.
But on the other end of that, I'm not able to customize the phone to the way, like, to strict, like, excessively personalize it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just, there's a lot that you can't download to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for security reasons, but you still can't personalize it the way you want it. If you're somebody that wants to be able to personalize a lot of the stuff on your phone and get a lot of different things on there, then you can get an Android and do all of that.
Right.
There's ups and downs to both.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Androids, that makes them kind of like, you know, I don't know, McDonald's phone. You know, it's like,
so wrong.
you don't know what you're getting, but like, I don't know, like you can put anything on your phone. Like, I don't know what's in it, but I know I like it. Right?
Yeah.
So,
and you know, people like having that variety.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people that, you know, don't want iPhones are very uniform.
Yes.
You know, like you get a iPhone 12, it's the same iPhone across the board. Androids have like thousands of different phones that are considered Androids. You know, so some people like having a phone that's not one specific make.
Right.
So you know,
those of us who are comfortable with our iPhones, you know, we used to our missionary, right? So, work just fine. We don't need to switch it up.
Yep. Old faithful gets the job done.
Does what it was intended to.
Yeah.
That's why I just can't with the iPhone. The whole gestures things, I can never get it right. Like swiping to remove a page that you're looking at, to close apps. I still have to get Dr. L's to like swipe up and close apps. It's very hard for me as someone who started with Android to use an iPhone.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It's just personal preference.
I think so.
What's another like an online battle that you see a lot? Sony versus Xbox. No, I'm definitely team Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's more because I like single player video games.
Mm.
You know, like Sony and PlayStation has the lock on like the single player stuff. If you like multiplayer stuff and gaming online, then yeah, Xbox has got all of that on lock.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'm not like a very social gamer at all. Like, I do not like to be called racial slurs online by 12-year-olds.
Right.
You know, like I'm good on that. I just want to stay in my own little world, in my own little bubble, and enjoy my little storyline, and that's it.
I never really liked the Xbox controllers.
Yeah.
Either. Honestly, for me, I've always just preferred the PlayStation design for the controller. That's to me it always been natural to me. Every time I picked up another controller for any other system, I just feels awkward to me. Like, I don't know, PlayStation. I think the controller alone is one of the main reasons why I stick with PlayStation. But yeah, also just one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
I was just talking with one of my guys on the Booyah tour last night about how great the Warriors game was, and I don't know if that came on multiple systems or was that because we were both talking about playing on PS2.
I think that might have been a multi-platform. Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Because that was a Rockstar game. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it was probably on more than one platform.
Yeah.
But I don't even ever remember seeing it on PS2.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting. Rockstar is a very interesting company, and I don't know. I feel like they're so focused on Grand Theft Auto right now. Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been on how many platforms? Like,
and it just reaches a new generation.
Yeah, it's still going on PS5.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on PS3 first. And by that time, I was burned out on Grand Theft Auto. Like, I played, like, maybe a couple of missions on it and just never got back into it. Because, I mean, like, back in... I think the first one where it really, really blew up was Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah.
That was the one that really just kind of, like, reset the whole... Changed the game, literally. Like, with all the open world missions and all of that. Like, so many games kind of took that format and ran with it. And once they had 3, then they had Vice City, and then San Andreas. And then by that point, you know, I was... So many other games that kind of took that formula. It was like, okay, what do you do from here?
Right.
But by the time 4 came around, I was just... I don't know. I didn't even finish 4 either. But
that's interesting for you.
I mean, there's a lot to do in those games, like a little too much, and I think that's kind of what they started leaning towards. Look, let's just pile more and more and more in each one of these games.
Yeah, I in any Grand Theft Auto game I've ever played, I've completed very little of the actual story.
Yeah.
Or the main game. It's just mostly I just
Run around.
Yeah, I've gotten too caught up doing other things, and then of course I get bored of running around after a while, and then I just stop playing the game. And it's like I don't finish the whole purpose of the game. I don't finish it.
Right.
So then, you know, there's, like I was saying, there's other games that kind of took that format and then kind of did it better. You got, like, for example, like the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
You got those. It's like Spider-Man with, like, the Grand Theft Auto format, where you can just kind of swing around and do... Well, you can't, like, beat up women of the night. You know, Spider-Man, you know. Ladies of the evening. But, you know, you can do things within the law that Spider-Man would do. And I think all of the, like, even Batman kind of went in that route with Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you got the Infamous games.
Yeah.
Prototype.
Was the Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yep. And, I mean, that format was game changing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they did do that with 3. But, you know, it's only so many times you can kind of reinvent the wheel with that.
Yeah.
And Rockstar had so many different games they could have kind of ran with that with, like the Max Payne games, for example. Wasn't those Rockstar games?
What? I think.
I know.
Wait, were they?
I know 3 was a Rockstar game.
Yeah, I think Rockstar made it like. Did they take it over? I think.
Yeah, I think they took over for 3.
Yeah.
And 3 was amazing. They need to re-release that actually.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess those are opinions. You know, those are examples of opinions, not facts. Those are just personal preferences. So let's go into another personal preference. What's another, I guess, online battle you see a lot?
Does pineapple go on pizza?
I feel like we should start taking callers in eventually. But no, that's the last thing we need. Somebody to call in very upset about pineapples and going on a tirade. A lot of profanity for the FCC.
And then it's technical difficulties.
No, don't need that. But
fix the plate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who will fix
plate?
the plate? Yeah.
Oh.
That one?
Yeah.
Who gets served first? The kids or the husband?
Yeah. That's another thing. I think that's kind of like personal opinions like that that are kind of getting out of hand.
Yeah.
And driving wedges in the black community. Like,
high value man.
Yeah, high value man. Yeah. That whole thing.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah. And that's another issue I guess we can talk about too. Like when you talk about facts versus opinions, people can have their opinions about you as a person. Whether they're right or not it doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna have an opinion about you, good or bad.
Right.
How you feel about yourself is a fact. All right. So you look at people like Kevin Samuels, who made their whole living. Kevin Samuels was very, I will say, he knew his audience.
Yes.
And I think he played up the drama aspect of, I guess the salaciousness of what he was saying to people in order to get views.
Right.
Because he knows what people are going to click on, what they want to see, and what's going to go viral. And he was right. But, at what expense?
Can I be honest? And it was the people's fault. Like, people would call in for Kevin Samuels to rate them.
Yeah, like, what do you think he's going to say? Oh, wow, you're perfect.
10, ding, ding, ding. Women would actually call in the show and say, do you think I'm a high value woman? And then he'd like,
do you think I deserve a millionaire? Like, why does it matter? You think he's gonna say, oh yeah, you definitely deserve who cares?
Yeah, first of all, people need to stop listening to Kevin Samuels and instead start listening to that was it the IHOP lady, or what was the waitress that Tiger Woods cheated on his wife with?
Yeah.
She was an IHOP.
I don't know what was it. Yeah, she really.
Yeah, she was a waitress.
She was like a waitress or something.
It was an IHOP waitress.
She got her a high value man.
Right? Yeah.
So if you believe, ladies, that you deserve that high value man, go out and get him.
If you believe, you can choose.
There's Tiger Woods is everywhere out there, just waiting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's you determine your own reality. That's the central theme of everything we keep talking about on this. If you were, people can say what they want to say about you. What Kevin Samuels, it doesn't matter because he's dead now.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but either way, like even if he wasn't, there's somebody that's gonna come take his place because that's already been put out in the universe now.
Yep.
That's a void that needs to be filled now. People need their toxic fix of.
Speaking of which, next on WRUU, you can listen to Gerard Smith, High Value Man. Next week, be on the lookout for that.
We have our own toxic female. I just want you to know. Her name is Shira, and she says sprinkle, sprinkle. Have you heard women say sprinkle, sprinkle yet?
No.
I'm not familiar with this.
We'll have to talk about that another time. But
no, go ahead. Let's hear it.
She talks about it's almost like women empowerment, but it's sprinkled with a little bit of city girl. So she's a 50-year-old woman who talks about women being the prize, and that's okay. But it's very it's on the lines of Kevin Samuels, but on the female version.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is, it's all about what you get out of what you're listening to. If
know your audience.
Yeah, you got to know your audience. If you feel the way I listen to my rap music, for example, those are like affirmations for me. Like it's like I listen to that in the morning, in the car, and I'm like, yes, I am the toughest man alive. I am the coolest man on earth.
Yeah.
This is me. I am ready to go take on the world. Like I am very rich also. I could also have every woman I wanted, but I don't. Because I don't need to, because I'm that cool. It's affirmations. That's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Now, women are entitled to that too. You got like the city girls out there.
Love the city girls.
The city. Yeah. If that makes you feel empowered. Like, yeah, I can go out and get this money.
City girls, I must say that, you know, you remember when Carisha was like manifesting?
Yeah.
You remember she's like, God, please, please. And now she's with a billionaire.
Yeah.
Living it up.
Yeah, you know, and while we're also talking about people living their truth and living their facts and their reality, I will say that some realities are different than others. Like the reality that a billionaire lives in is a lot different from the reality that I live in. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't put my life standards next to Diddy and being like, oh, Diddy's out here doing this. How could he do that? I wouldn't do something like that. Of course I wouldn't. You know, that's his life. Like, oh, Diddy's out here with, you know, all these models on a yacht and all of his baby mamas on a yacht, and none of them are fighting. Yeah, it's because he's a billionaire. You know, yeah, you couldn't do that. He can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's if you're like, well, how could they do that? How could they go out there with each other and not fight? Because he's a billionaire. That's why.
He's got like a baby mama's Noah art.
Yeah,
and they came onto his yacht 2x2.
Yeah. And then what was that? I think it was like last year they came out and he just announced out of nowhere he had a surprise baby.
Right, and everybody was like
what? But I thought you were dating Young Miami, and it's like, well, he's a billionaire,
right?
You know,
That's what billionaires
I'm
do.
sure she knows because I mean he's making a public announcement. He didn't like Drake the baby. You know?
Wow.
That should be like a new saying, Drake the baby.
Yeah, Drake the baby.
Remember that show Dinosaurs? Like not the mom, like
Yeah.
Drake the baby.
Wow.
Yeah. But, you know.
Hashtag Drake the baby.
Yeah.
That should be a whole movement.
That right.
Yeah.
Drake the baby. He didn't
2023 is when the Drake the baby movement started.
No, there's plenty of that. People Drake the babies every day.
Drake the baby.
He's like the spokesperson for it. You know?
He wasn't hiding
Like,
his
did
kid
you-
from the world.
Yeah, I was hiding the world from my kid. Yeah. That.
Drake the baby.
It's like he needs to do a commercial for that. Like,
Mhm.
men, did you accidentally impregnate a woman that you shouldn't have? Or did she bust out the turkey baster or something on you? Like,
Don't worry. We'll
just
make
don't
this up.
claim responsibility until your rap rival comes out and exposes you. But yeah, that's another thing I guess people kind of deny facts about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even rap beefs, who won and who lost. Drake undeniably lost that battle. Like that's not like an opinion. That's a fact. Like Pusha T came out with that song and Drake had nothing. He put out like a iPhone notes statement.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that? He made an announcement on Instagram and was like explaining himself, and then was like, you know, there was something going around. He was paying people to go around and look for dirt on Pusha T and didn't find anything, and then nothing. Then Jay Prince stepped in and was like, all right, y'all, cool it out. You messing up my money.
That's it.
Leave Drake alone. You messing with my money. Leave my baby alone.
Leave my cash cow alone. It's
Yeah.
okay, cash cow.
It's okay, baby. Pusha T's not gonna say nothing mean to you anymore.
He had like Drake's head in his bosom.
Yeah.
They're there. But
My
and
little
it's
light skinned
subjective.
baby.
Right. That is true. I was gonna say that's subjective too to who lost, because he still came out with a #1 album, 2 #1 albums after that.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, Pusha T was nominated for a Grammy too for his last one.
Did he win one?
No.
So who won? And I'm not a Drake stan at all, but that's what the Drake stans will say.
I get it. It's a matter of perspective.
They will say that.
I mean, Drake is like, Michael Jackson level now. You know, I think a lot of his fans aren't gonna just cast him to the side over just a baby. You know,
just a
whatever.
Madonna. I think Drake is the Madonna of rap.
Yeah, it's a valid opinion.
Yeah.
He's constantly reinventing himself every album.
Yeah.
You know.
If there was if they did like a new, like Def Jam Vendetta game.
Oh, okay.
You know, like they should put like Drake in it, and he basically be like the Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Shang
Tsung. Yeah, he just like
You'll change into everybody. Yeah, take all their moves.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
Either that or like he should be one of those like Greco-Roman wrestlers. He just covers himself in lotion and greases himself up to like every battle. But I feel like Drake like me. Light skin energy. I don't know.
Like, is this a game or a Tyler Perry movie? But yeah, I guess that's is there any more, I guess, facts? I think we covered all the facts versus opinion stuff, or gave a good baseline for it anyway.
Greatest rapper alive. That's an opinion too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or did?
Yeah, who is your opinion? In your opinion, who's the greatest rapper alive?
Hands down, Jay-Z. But I'm always say that.
Yeah,
it
I'm
depends
the
on
same.
your region. What about you?
Black Thought.
That is a very
very
strong choice too, and a very strong case could be made for that I would not argue against. Black Thought has. I've never heard him get washed on any feature. He usually does the washing.
Yeah. You see, like I think there's like a post of recently he's performing. Cause he's like what in his he's like in his 50s now, right?
Yeah, or close.
Yeah, he was just like every verse he's killing everything. Yeah.
He's very talented.
That's a very interesting take.
Still, he's been very consistent, like forever. But yeah. So I guess that's it for this episode. I hope you guys out there listening enjoyed it and learned something about facts versus opinions, and are able to apply that to, I guess, define your own reality for yourself. Because that's our mission here, to help you define your reality for yourself. So the viewpoints expressed in the preceding program were not necessarily those of WRUU, its license holder, or its staff. We'll see you guys next week on Black Mass Radio.
Awesome. See you.